Hey there, it's Mitzi. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share my November TBR, but I'm going to do two parts to this because it might get too long if I do it all in one. So I am participating in two different reading challenges, Historathon 2.5 and Nonfiction November. So today I will be sharing my Historathon 2.5 TBR. Now this takes place from November 1st to November 10th, and it is hosted by the Curly Reader, and her co-host is Lindsey's Little Library. And I will link the live stream announcement below because that video is fantastic. She pretty much just talked about all the different books, historical fiction books that could fit each challenge, and there were so many people participating and giving ideas. So I just have this long list now of historical fiction that I could read for a couple more years. I mean, it was a fantastic video, so make sure you go check that out. And also thank you to the Curly Reader and Lindsey's Little Library for hosting this event. I am super excited about it. So these are the challenges. Number one is books involving transportation. The second one is a book you feel you're the last one to read. Number three, a book to movie adaptation. 4, a book with 3 words in the title. And 5, a middle grade. And I think there's a lot of things I could choose to fit any of those challenges. So for the first one is the book that is my priority. I cannot wait to read this book. I heard about this book this week. I had never even heard of this book before. But I was watching Hicks Picks Books. And if you haven't seen her BookTube channel, you need to check out Hicks Picks Books. I want to read everything she reads. She's a fairly new channel. I don't even think she's a year old yet. But she and I have a lot of similarities in some of the books that we want to read. And she reads some things I've never heard of, so I like watching her channel. Anyway, that's beside the point. Sorry. She was doing a reading vlog, and she mentioned this book called The Second Life of Mirielle West by Amanda Skenandore. And she said she'd checked this out from the library and, you know, just on a whim, checked it out. Well, as she was reading it, she kind of would report back because it was a vlog. And I was thinking, I have got to get that book. So I went, and my husband and I was out running errands. I said, we've got to run by the bookstore. I've got to find that book. And thankfully they had it. But what is so interesting about this is set in the 1920s, and there's this lady. Now, I'm telling you what she said on the vlog. I'm not sure. But there's this lady who has these lesions come up on her body, and the doctor tells her that she has leprosy. And this is the 1920s, and on the back it says, this is inspired by a true story of the Louisiana, that's the name of it, the Louisiana Leprosy Hospital. I didn't even know there was a leprosy hospital in Louisiana. So I was ready for this one. Well, when she was talking about the book, she said that she is transported to the leprosy camp or whatever by train. So I thought I'll use that for involving transportation. And I am so excited. This is the first one I'm reading in November. So The Second Life of Mirielle West. You might want to pick that one up and we can all read it. Number 2, a book you feel you're the last one to read. This one was an easy one. I actually shared this a couple of videos ago. Should I read these books? And a couple of people were like, yes, you need to read that. It's a great one. So I'm going to try this one out. Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. Again, this has been on my shelf for a very long time. So now is the time to pick it up and get this one read. And then number 3, a book to movie adaptation. Now, I think they mentioned this one on that live stream actually. But this is one that I want to read. There's a new movie out called Ashes in the Snow. And that's what this book is based on. This book is Between Shades of Grey. I think, though, they changed the name of the book, too. I'm not sure. But Between Shades of Grey is the title of the book. And the movie is Ashes in the Snow. I think. I might have them flip-flop. But anyway, this book is called Between Shades of Grey. And so I thought I would read that for a book to movie adaptation. And after I read, then I will go watch that movie. So that's what I will do for movie adaptation. Number 4, a book with 3 words in the title. And this was another one that I've had on my shelf for a very long time. And a couple of people again said, yes, go ahead and read that one. It's a good one. The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. And I think this might be dual timeline. I'm not sure. I think it is. But it starts out in 1913. So I'm counting this as historical fiction. So, Forgotten Garden. And then a middle grade. This one was easy because I have been wanting to read this book since I read the first book. And the first one is a sequel. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. The first one that I loved was The War That Saved My Life. This was a Newbery Honor book. And this is so good. I really liked this. It's about when they took the children out during during World War II, and they took the children out of the city. And this one, oh, it's such a sweet story if you haven't read this one. But there's a sequel to this one called, oh, I'm dropping everything, The War I Finally Won. And I haven't read this one yet, so I thought I would read this one for middle grade. Now, as I was gathering the books to decide on what I wanted to read for Historathon 2.5, I also saw some books that I have read to my kids when I taught school that I loved. And one of those, this was a favorite. And I actually met Patricia MacLachlan, Sarah Plain and Tall, and this is a Newbery Medal winner. And that was a highlight, meeting this lady. I mean, I pretty much stalked her and had her sign the book and everything. I have a picture somewhere of me with her. Maybe I can find that and put it up here somewhere. But this is such a sweet story. And if you've never read this, this can count for your middle grade, and it can also count for, it actually could be your 3-word, because you could take the and out, Sarah Plain Tall. But it also was made into a movie. And so if you can squeeze this in, because I don't even think it's 100 pages. It is 58 pages. You can read this. It is so sweet. I love this little story. So if you've never seen the movie, and the movie is really sweet too. So Sarah Plain and Tall, pick this one up at your library. See if you can find that one. Another one that is a middle grade that my kids really enjoyed was Bud Not Buddy, and this works for a 3-word and middle grade too, and it was a Newbery winner. This is such a sweet, oh, and it would work for transportation too, because he kind of hitches a ride. He might get on a train at some point, I can't remember, but anyway, he hitches a ride to try to find who he thinks is his father. And it's set during the Great Depression, and it is one of the sweetest, funniest stories. It's really dealing with grief, but the way that Christopher Paul Curtis tells this story is so funny and heartwarming. I cried in this. It was just, it's a great book. I need to reread this one. Bud Not Buddy. That's a great story. Another one that every time I look at this, I say I need to reread that, because it's been years since I read this, but it won the Christie Award one year, which is for Christian fiction, and it's called Wonderland Creek. And it's about this librarian who loses her job, and she has to move to Kentucky, and she pretty much goes, I think, by horseback or something to deliver books, you know what I mean? And it's a love story, but it's called Wonderland Creek by Lynn Austin, and it's set, I think, in the 1930s as well. It probably tells me at the very beginning. Let me see. 1936. And it's cute. It's got some funny things. That she's very funny, witty, and I laughed out loud at some of it, but it's still a sweet story too. So this one's, if you want something from the 1930s, early 1940s kind of vibe, then this would be a good one for that. And then also, I don't think they mentioned this one, but this one's been pretty popular lately. And I love this one, Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pierce. I love this story. There's actually a sequel I haven't read yet. But I like this story because I read a lot of World War II, but they are so heavy and they're hard to read. This one, even though it's dealing with World War II, there's a lot of funny moments in it, sweet moments in it, and so it's a little lighter to read. I mean, still dealing with those difficult subjects, but it's a lighter read than some of those other ones that we all read, and sometimes you know how it gets. You read so many of them, you just can't read anymore. So if you like World War II, I suggest reading Dear Miss Bird, because this one's a good one too. So those are the books I plan on reading for Historathon 2.5. Are you participating? Let me know down in the comments. What is your favorite historical fiction? Because I might not be read it, and I love historical fiction. So let me know that. Leave a comment below. Also, let me know if you've read any of the books that I plan on reading. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.